Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to install the TruXedo Lo Pro on the 2024 Ford Ranger. The tools we'll be using for this installation are a 10mm wrench, a ratchet with a T30 Torx bit, and I'll also be using a Phillips head bit. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start off by installing our block seals. Now that's going to go all the way up against our bulkhead. So here's our bulkhead right here. Now I've already wiped down the top surface of the bulkhead and the inside surface of the bulkhead with some isopropyl alcohol that removes any kind of wax buildup or any kind of soap residue that might be there. This has got an adhesive backing. I'm going to show you where it's going to go before I peel the adhesive backing, but it needs to go all the way kind of up against the bed cap, and when we slide it forward, it's going to stick to our bulkhead. Now, it needs to be about 3mm above the bulkhead. It's about 1/8 of an inch, but if you want to know exactly where it is, it's right at the line on the bed cap where it's going over top of the bulkhead. So we want to have that kind of even with that line there. So we're going to go ahead and peel that off. Basically, the best way to peel that off is push in, peel that away. We're going to bring this in and slide it into place. We'll repeat that same thing on the opposite side. All right, now before we install our driver's side rail, we're going to first install our 3 driver's side rail clamp brackets, and they're going to go to these locations that have these plastic fasteners. So we first have to take out those fasteners. Best way to do that, I'm just going to use a Phillips head bit. And it's going to go right into that fastener. And as I turn that fastener, what I'm going to do is squeeze from the back. If I squeeze that together, it'll help me to unscrew that piece, and then you can just go work it right out. And if you want to hold on to those and retain them, just throw them in your glove box. All right, next what we're going to do is take our bracket. You'll notice it's got kind of some grooves on this side. That's going to be important later. What we're going to do is take one of our bolts from our hardware kit. We're going to run it through there and into that hole. On the back side, we've got a serrated flange nut that's going to thread onto that bolt. And I like to just kind of get it started. So I'm going to take a 10mm box end screw or a box end wrench and hold that bolt in like so. Take a T30 Torx bit, and I'm just going to run it down just a little bit, just where it's kind of coming through the other side of that bolt, so we don't have as far to work once we get this lined up. And then we're just going to allow it to sit in place like so and work up to the next one. The next one we're going to do the exact same way. Now this next area, we've got 2 clips that only one of them comes out. So we're going to do the one closest to the center of the truck, which is the one more forward. So we're going to do the exact same thing, pull that one out. All right, next we're going to go all the way up to the very front. And again, just same practice to put the clamp bracket in place. Okay, so here is our driver's side rail. Now the difference between the driver's side and the passenger side, the driver's side is going to have your trigger latch that goes towards the tailgate end. Now before we just put this on, what we need to do is we need to install the seals on the ends of the rail. So I've got a couple of seals. They're a mirror image of each other. So I'm going to use this one. It's going to go just like that. I'm going to stick it to it. I've already wiped down the surface with some rubbing alcohol to make sure I get a good bond. What I'm just going to do is peel this off, install that on, just get it nice and lined up. And I'm going to do the same thing on the front side. We're going to take and just drop it right into place like so. And then our side seal will just kind of stick to it like so. And now we're ready to set this in place onto our clamp brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this clamp bracket back up. I'm going to set this. You'll notice we've got some grooves that run on the inside of this rail. Those are going to match up to the grooves on our clamp brackets. So I'm just going to set that in between the clamp brackets and the bed caps. And then I'm going to slide this forward. We want to make sure that the edge of this rail is about 3/8 of an inch away from where the bulkhead is. So this seal up at the end is going to overhang our bulkhead about 1/8 of an inch. Now once we've got that in place, we want to hold it here, and then each one of our brackets, what we're going to do is we're going to line them up to the rail. Take a really close look at how the grooves on this clamp are lined up to the grooves in the rail. We want to make sure this is as far up as it can go because it'll be supporting the bottom of that rail up top. Now we can go ahead and tighten this down. We're going to use the 10mm box end wrench, slide that in place, and use our T30 Torx bolt. Now as we're doing this, we'll also make sure that the seal on the rail is nice and even with the top of the bed cap. Go ahead and move up to the front and do the same thing. All right, and repeat the same process for the rail on the opposite side. Okay, this is our bulkhead seal. Now, I just want to remind you that we did already wipe down the top of the bulkhead with some rubbing alcohol. That needs to be done before you attach the bulkhead seal. This down here is our adhesive end. That's going to be sticking to the top of the bulkhead. Now, if you look at the profile, it's a little more rounded on this face and up on the top. This face is going to be pointing towards the cab of the truck. This part that's less rounded is going to be facing to the inside of the truck. I also want to show you that when we set this in place, it needs to be as far back away from the cab as possible, still on top of the bulkhead. So it's going to be placed on top of the bulkhead about like so, where it's even with the bulkhead as it goes up vertically. So when we set that in place, what we're going to need to do is push it all the way against the bed cap, but then bring it up to that face of the bulkhead. And what that's going to do is compress that corner seal. So I wanted to show you that before I peeled it away and just stuck it in place so you can see exactly how it was going on. All right, so we're going to peel back about 6 inches or so of that adhesive protectant. You can get that in there, bring it back and drop it down onto the bulkhead. We'll just go ahead and peel away. All right, there we go. Okay, so now here is our cover the way it comes out of the box. Now, what you're going to notice is we've got a rubber seal that's going to extend pointing towards the bulkhead. This is actually going to rotate down and this is going to lay over top of our bulkhead seal. You'll also notice we've got this header bar. This is going to rotate over and drop down. It's going to land right on top of the rail right here, right in front of this piston. So this portion right here will be butted up against the piston, and make sure that these straps are also dropping down into the bed of the truck, not over top of the bulkhead. Whenever this rotates down, this is going to be sitting on top of the rail. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to push this forward, and what that's going to do is lock down onto the rail itself. If you ever want to remove the cover, we push down on this metal button and pull this back, and that will release it. We're going to drop that down, lock it in on both sides. Get it, make sure it's nice and centered so it's engaging the Velcro properly. And then we're going to pull it back and roll it towards the tailgate. All right, now as I roll it back, what I like to do, we'll bring it back for the very first time, I like to lift it up and kind of pull it back from the header rail. That keeps it from getting bunched up at the front. And as you go back too, you also want to kind of lift up on the sides. The Velcro will slide forward and backward. We want to make sure the Velcro is slid all the way forward on both sides. What we're going to do, we're going to get to the tail rail. Now this needs to drop down in front of the cam lock on both sides, and then we're going to rotate it to where it catches and latches in place. Next, we can go ahead and fix the Velcro on the sides. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.